Good morning, friends. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today, I'm going to be focusing on getting some stuff planted and doing some weeding. So it was Thanksgiving weekend here in America, and I've been sick since Thursday, so I haven't gotten much done. I am starting to get my voice back. I'm still feeling really weak. But today is my first day back out at the farm, and I'm looking right now, and it looks like the Bio360 has blown off of all but one bed. So there's that that I need to deal with. I also need to transplant the ranunculus and weed these extremely grassy beds, which now it looks like they're just a big bed of grass. So lots of fun stuff. Also this weekend, coming up, I'm doing a booth at our local town holiday showcase for the day on Saturday. And I have to make a whole bunch of dried flower things. So I started working on that over the last couple days, but because I've been sick, I've only been able to be out there in the garage working where it's like 40 degrees in the garage, it's cold, for an hour or so before I need to rest. So we'll see how far I get today here at the farm, but now I'm feeling the urgency, especially now that all the stuff is blown off of those beds. That really frustrates me. Okay, so let's go see how things look, and I'll start taking stock. I don't know how this is going to work. Usually once the Bio360 blows off, it gets all bunched up and then it kind of fuses together, so you just can't use it again. You can't re-stretch it back out. So yeah, this might just be a grass year, which is really going to be a pain in the butt, but we'll see. So let's go check it out. Okay, so, nothing much has changed here with the weeds other than that there's just more of them. Oh, and then there's a ton of molar vole activity right here. So I do have deterrent. I'll put that down again. Not that that really is going to do much. But the snapdragons are still here. So yeah. We also have had three frosts over the last couple days, which is fine for these plants. I don't really want to cover them because that just gives them more safety that just gives the rodents more places to hide. So I'll only come out and cover them if we're going to get really bad rains or really high winds. All right, so yeah, lots of grass. The ranunculus is still coming up, but pretty soon the grass is going to outcompete it. So that's going to be the job. Good news is I can just sit in the row and pull stuff, so it's not super active. But this is the other problem. So it's gotten torn up by the wind and blown around. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this back. And the grasses are already starting to grow up in here, although not nearly as much as over here, which I find very interesting. Because the beds were all made at the same time. However, irrigation only went on these recently. So now I have actual landscape fabric that's heavy that I could bring and lay over here, but I'd have to burn all the holes for it. And I just really don't want to use it, but I may not have a choice. That's at Fish Ranch, so I don't have it here today. Not the one bright side. So one thing that was lovely is Dylan came home from college for 4 days, and that was so wonderful to be with him. He seems to be thriving. He's having a really good time. He's doing great in his classes. So it's all good news. And he'll be back in 3 weeks for the holidays, which is also great. So, but Friday, I was pretty down for the count. And my family, we had other family in town too, they all went out to Fish Ranch and almost completely disassembled the high tunnel for me, which is a huge gift, as you can imagine. So the only thing left to do with the high tunnel is to take off the hip boards and the base boards, and I can do that by myself because those are, at my level. I don't need a ladder or anything. They took off the plastic, folded it up, all the parts are put away, so it's all there waiting to be, taken away by trailer. We need to rent a trailer to bring over here to the farm at some point in the next couple weeks. So that's really good. Okay, since everywhere I look, there's a project. I think what I'm going to do is try to prioritize and get the ranunculus that are still in the trays in the ground. They're sprouting in the trays. I'm going to get the ranunculus in those 2 beds. And then maybe I'll cover the other 2 with landscape fabric and burn holes and do all that kind of stuff. So at least have 3 beds that are weed free for the season. We'll see. That I'm not going to be doing today. So just focus on one thing at a time. So you guys know how I plant the ranunculus. I'm going to use my dibbler, make a hole, put them in. So I'm actually not going to set up a time lapse for this because you've seen it happen a bunch of times. I'll just come back and show you when I'm done. And I'm going to put on an audiobook and just kind of chill and take it easy and get this work done. Well, that took a few hours and I'm tired. So I got all the ranunculus planted. It's this whole row here and just a little bit of that row. I decided not to try to pull the Bio 360 back over. It's windy. This is going to be torn up within the next day or so. So I'm not going to worry about it. And I did get 1 row over here weeded. Don't know if you can tell, but believe it or not, I hand pulled all the grass and stuff. So what you see there is the ranunculus. This will be tomorrow. And then Wednesday, maybe this one and that one tomorrow because I won't have to plant. Wednesday is going to be dumping rain. So the rest of this will have to wait till Thursday. But I started this because this was the most dense grass. So the ranunculus that is up is looking good, but there's quite a bit that's not up yet. I hope it will come up. We'll see. But I do have 1,200 plants and even more that haven't even been pre-sprouted yet that I can put in the spring if I need them. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I think I'll have more than enough stems. So I'm going to head home, take some more medicine, have some lunch, and then I'll show you what I've started doing in the garage in terms of the dried flowers for this weekend. So welcome to the disaster zone. Like, really, disaster zone. It's a mess. There are boxes of dried flowers everywhere. I'm still trying to put things together, but I also can't leave it like this because we actually do need to use this garage. So these are some of the arrangements I've put together so far. These are all hand-tied bouquets. Roughly all about the same size. Like here's 2 examples here. I'm going to I have on order some velvet ribbons, thin ribbons that I'm going to tie everything up with. This one's one of my favorites. Isn't that pretty? So I'll have hand-tied bouquets like this, dried bouquets, and then I'm going to put together, I don't know, maybe 10 of these vases with, little posies in them. I'll also make some small, like handheld posies. So they'll be like the hand-tied bouquets, but they'll be small. And then I'm going to make a couple of wreaths. I do have some wreath forms, and these were given to me. These were given to me by a customer, but these actually are the kind of wreath forms that you need a wreath table for. So it's a special table. You lay the wreath down. It's got a pedal and everything on it. These are open, and then you lay the branches and everything you're going to use inside, and then you step on the pedal, and the pedal causes these to close, and they crimp the greenery down, and then you don't see these. These are not the best wreath forms for doing dried flowers or stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to hold off on these. The wreath forms that I'm going to use for my holiday wreath workshop, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after on the 9th, are different from those. They still look the same, but they don't have those prongs. They're just two circles that are flat. So that's much easier to use wire, this kind of wire, paddle wire, to wrap your florals around. But I do think that I'm going to cut some willow and use that to form some just natural wreath circles. And then I can attach, maybe not to the whole wreath, but on the bottom, some florals. So let's go out and I'll show you where that willow is. Okay, so this is an arroyo willow. It's right here in our yard. I don't know if any of this is gonna be close enough for me to reach. It's down actually in the creek bed, and it's real big, but it does have a few branches that are coming down, so I don't know. I'm gonna try to see if I can reach something. I don't think it's gonna be low enough for me to reach. The other thing I wanted to show you, in amidst all these fallen leaves, the hives. So I actually did a hive dive a couple days ago, and before I got sick. And this first hive, the brown one closest to us, that is an 8-frame hive. That is the one that we re-queened because it lost its queen. It has lost its queen again because there's hardly any bees left in there. I fed them some sugar syrup about a month and a half ago to make sure they had enough to get through the winter because the hive felt very light. And then when I went in to give them more sugar syrup, I noticed that there were hardly any bees at all. Most of the frames had not been filled out. And so I think what happened is the hive next to it, the green one, which is healthy, that's a 10-frame hive. I think those bees came over and robbed the syrup, and also because this hive lost its queen. So, and you can see there's some bees clustering on the edge there. They're going in through the top cover to get what's left of that syrup, which is fine. There's nobody left in that hive, so I don't have to worry about it. The green hive, I did go in there and inspect, and it is loaded with honey. Super, super heavy. They have plenty to get them through the winter. And I put an insulating cover on top because that should help them stay dry, warm and dry. What we don't want to happen is for too much moisture to build up in the hive, have it hit the wooden top, and then literally rain on top of the bees, and that can happen. So there's an insulating cover in there, and then the top cover is on top of that. So I think they'll be okay for the winter. So now I'm gonna see if I can reach any of these willow branches that, they're green, they're alive, but I think they're gonna be too tall for me to get to because we're on a very steep slope here. And even if I could just get a couple of them, that can help me make a few living wreaths. And if not, then I can always, and I might do this instead, take some of these grapevines because this grape is done for the season and I would be pruning it back anyway. So I might take a few of these and I can use them to create the wreath form. Well, I didn't see I couldn't reach any willow branches, and I didn't see any grape ones that would really work. So no big deal. I can also order some. I can go pick some up. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to set you guys up to watch while I do a little bit more work in here, and then I'm really going to try to clean some of this up just so that Mike can use the gym tomorrow morning, because right now you can't get to it. I've got flowers drying on it. I've got boxes of flowers everywhere. It's a mess. So let me see what I can put together to round out this day. The end of the day headache is really setting in, so I don't know how long I'll be out here, but I'm going to do my best to get more done. Today is Monday. The show is on Saturday. I would like to have everything wrapped up, hopefully by Wednesday here, so that I can focus on all the administrative stuff that I've got to do. So of course the battery died while I was finishing up, but I did make some progress. Made some small little hand-tied posies, and then I cleaned up and consolidated so I can see what I really have left, which is quite a bit. And right before I finished, all the beautiful narrow velvet ribbons in muted colors arrived, and so I'll be able to hand wrap all of those and they'll look really pretty. I'm also going to go ahead and sell all of these little cinnamon brooms with the dried flowers that I've made in the past. We've used for workshops. They're really pretty, and I still have more cinnamon brooms, so I can make some more of these. These actually sell pretty well. And it's really nice that I'm doing this because even if I don't make a lot of sales at the show, I can actually post these things on my website for sale, for shipping, and the show itself will give me a lot of exposure because it's a local show here in our town. So yeah, I mean, it's good. And it was really inexpensive. I think it was $35 for a little booth space. So super cheap. Best trade show, cost you could ask for. So it is supposed to be raining all that day on Saturday, so we may or may not get traffic, but we'll be we'll be inside right next to the farmer's market. So maybe, you never know. All right, I'm exhausted. All the nighttime cold symptoms are setting in. It's dark outside. So I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a great time in your garden, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.